I had to go back and forth to deal with that case. End up getting the one day in prison sentence, but I was facing 10 years on the mortgage fraud.
I looked at the PSI when I got it, I almost had a heart attack. It was like 120 months. And I was like, 120 months when my range was supposed to be like 5 to 7. Sentencing day is the biggest day of your life. It's your life on the line. It's your time. Time you will never get back. And your attorney is coaching you the whole way. Here's what you're looking at. We should probably take this deal. It's not going to get any better. But almost everybody I've dealt with tells the same story. I went in thinking I was getting less, and it's always more.
I was real intrigued and wanted to get into that line of work. So when I got to the halfway house, they told me I couldn't get a job driving. I was like, what?
It's nothing. It's all smoke and mirrors. Ain't none of it built for rehabilitation.
It's built for recidivism. Welcome back to the fifth quarter. If you're new here, this isn't a true crime podcast. There's a second chance podcast. The three of us have all been through the federal criminal justice system, served our time, and now we're rebuilding our lives as entrepreneurs, husbands, fathers, and professionals. Today, we're talking about the journey, from the uncertainty before sentencing, to walking out of prison, to trying to build a life after conviction. If you've ever wondered what that process actually feels like, this one's for you. What's up, fellas? We got Brad here. We got Ross here, as always. We back doing our thing. How's everybody's week?
What's up, man? What up?
Hey, cheers.
All right, fellas. We gonna jump into it. All right. For someone who's never been through the federal system, one of the most confusing parts is a thing called the PSI, or Pre-Sentencing Investigation Report. Before you were sentenced, we're going to go with B first. How much did you actually understand about what was happening?
For this last case, I knew a little bit more about it because I had a previous case. No, I didn't know much about it until, it came down to sitting down with the attorney and the attorney explaining it to me. The graph and, you got your, can't remember what it's called, but your more or less your crime and then the amount of, the ranges of what your sentencing guideline ranges, and then you have your criminal history, and then how you move from left to right on the graph, if I remember correctly, and the more or less the further right you go, and the lower you go on the left hand side, the more time you're looking at. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. Hey, let's see right here. Let's see Ross, because I guess it's fresher to him for his previous, and I think it was back to back PSIs, kind of. You got a PSI for each case, right, Ross?
All three of them I did, yeah. All three of them back to back.
So what was your experience each time, now that you knew about the PSI? So for anybody who doesn't know, the pre-sentencing guideline, it's done by a probation officer. So a probation officer looks at basically whatever they have on file for you, for your criminal history. It interviews people that are close to you, your parents, sometimes friends, sometimes your employers. And then their job is to establish for your crime what you basically usually pled to. Their job is to establish what guidelines or range you fit in for your previous self. And so you don't know about this. You do one interview with them and they talk to you for about 30 minutes. I think mine was maybe 45 minutes. And they're going back with, have you had any abuse in your family? Did you grow up in a home with alcohol and drugs? Were you always employed? That you think matters, Ross, I would say, like when you're first going through it, you think that matters. But in my experience, it always came back a little fucked up. For me, they're not supposed to look at anything, I think, over 10 years of your criminal history. And they can look at everything from misdemeanors to driving tickets to DUIs. And for me, they tried to bump up my guidelines for a DUI I had 15 years previously. And so for me, I was like, that really stuck in my head. Like, hold on a second. How does this bank fraud have anything to do with a DUI. And it kind of enlightened me. It was more made me say, oh, this is a criminal injustice system. They're trying to put me in jail for a longer period than for my crime that I pled to. And so, Ross, what was your experience?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I was always just concerned about obviously the main objective, which is how much time I'm gonna have to serve. The only benefit that I had because I served my time with you guys at Montgomery, and then I got out. And then 2 months after getting out, I had completed, or 2 months after getting out, I got indicted again on a different crime that happened prior to me going to Montgomery. So it was and then I had to go back and forth to deal with that case. End up getting the 1 day in prison sentence, but I was facing 10 years, 7 to 10 years on the mortgage fraud. But the judge just gave me favor because I had completed the RDAP program and that I had got out, and I wrote her a 14-page, very detailed letter, like literally explaining my journey from childhood to prison, the prison experience, and how I began rebuilding my life after I had got out. Because I knew I had this, I was facing it. So I was documenting me signing up for 2 nonprofits to start mentoring kids and youth, which is where my past is, obviously, with community service. So I was showcasing. I was taking pictures of me with the youth group. I sent like thumb drives to the judge along with a 14-page letter, showing I'm no longer the man that went to prison the first time. She took account to that now, and then it gave me the 1 day federal sentence. But I was facing, like I said, 7 to 10 years, because it was a greater dollar amount on that mortgage fraud than it was on my bank fraud. So obviously we know that the loss matters in the crime that's committed when they're trying to determine the category of points that they put you in. So my first was only like $30,000. This was like they were trying to hit me with $1 million, over $1 million. But my restitution ended up being $550,000 because that was all their whatever those guys that they hired that trace the funds and the bank accounts,
like the forensic accountants.
So, so when it came down to that, it was really, I always had that fear because I felt like the federal agents just had a thing for me, and because they didn't put it all under one umbrella, I felt like they had all these multiple investigations going on at the same time. That had a fear, that put a fear in the back of my mind, like they wasn't letting anything go, because they could have just wrapped it all up under one charge when I went for the first prison sentence. But now I have to keep going before new judges, which is the only thing saved me. I guess what I was going to say is that they approached all of it not from a reoffender standpoint. So my points category didn't increase because everything happened prior to me going to prison the first time. So I never violated after getting out. All of that helped when it came to getting, my sentencing, with my sentencing guidelines. Because obviously we know if you get out and reoffend, that puts you in a whole nother bracket.
No doubt.
Most definitely. So, especially if you're still on supervised release.
Correct.
No doubt. So did the judge? So Ross, and this question to Ross first, then B. Were you surprised after your PSI by your range that they said, or did it fit according to what you had signed?
I mean, I never, man, I was going through so many things emotionally that I didn't really spend a lot of time focused on any of that, because the ranges that they always tell you is so dramatized. Like, so you know what I'm saying?
You never coming home.
So look, I had, like Ross, I had more than one case at different periods of time. And so my first case, it was just me, and it was real simple, But the second, so I didn't have all these enhancements. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the second time I got 4 point enhancement for being a leader. I got 2 points for
Uh-huh.
sophisticated means,
Me
and then I
too.
got two points for more than 10 victims. You know what I'm saying? So that was 8 points in enhancement. So it took me from the probation range to the 51 to 60 range, if I remember correctly. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Because of
It's,
the
You just made
enhancements.
it, B. You just made a great point. That's something that I wanted to get into. I forgot about that. The enhancements. Most people don't realize when they sign their plea that this PSI can basically mess up your plea based on because nobody explains. And if you had, I'm sure if you had a great attorney who cared about you, he would explain,
Without a
hey,
doubt.
don't worry about. But most people that I've ever talked to about PSI, I always laugh about this because when I came back with the enhancements, I had the same thing: leadership role, over 10 people. The
And
at
that's
first
four points right there.
I had to fight elderly. I was like, what? And I looked at the PSI when I got it. I almost had a heart attack. It was like 120 months, and I was like,
Mm.
120 months when my range was supposed to be like 5 to 7.
Right.
And I looked at the PSI, and of course, to our audience out here, you have a chance. Basically, they do this PSI, they give it to your attorney. Your attorney sits down with you and explains, do you want to debate any of this? And so you have an opportunity to debate what's wrong on your PSI. And
Most
so,
definitely.
but the debate is with the probation officer, is not with the court, with a judge.
Correct.
And so the probation officer doesn't know you besides this 30 to 45-minute interview. They're
Right.
doing, like, and I hate to say this, they're doing the job of, I guess, was it crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's to make sure they put everything on there that they
To
possibly
make
could.
to make you look bad as possible.
Yes.
If I
And
remember
so,
correctly, because go ahead.
go ahead. So if you guys, fellas, if you got a horrible attorney or attorney that doesn't care about you and you're new to this whole process, you really can get fucked. Think about, if I didn't fight my DUI, that would have been another criminal point. They tack it on like you a Burger King and putting a Whopper together.
that's
Right.
a fact. Nah, my first, so for the bank fraud of, like I said, right before I met you guys in Montgomery, my category or my level was probation. And I
You
still
just
got
got
36. I still
probation?
got, no, that was my because I was a first time offender. I had no issues, like never with anything with the justice system or anything. I definitely had probation. So I had the probation category. So my attorney had made me believe that the judge was gonna give me probation. 36-month sentence, brother. 36 months.
On my first case, my attorney went over the guidelines with me when I was trying to make a determination if I was going to plead or take it to trial. And so, my first case, I was 0 to 12 months, and I still to this day, I'm gonna tell you, I was not guilty. I don't feel I was guilty. Uh, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to trial. And then, and because it was probation, it was like probation in 12 months is what me and the attorney had discussed. And from that point, I was just like, fuck it, we go to trial because I figure I'm still gonna get probation anyway. The shit's petty, you know what I'm saying? It was only like $23,000 case. I had paid the money back. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a misunderstanding. So, because I took it to trial, he put me right in the middle and gave me 6 months. I said, 6 months? You know what I mean? Like, I was confident, you know what I'm saying? But my first case, you could have never told me I was going to prison. I paid the money back, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't been in trouble for over 12 to 15 years, if I remember correctly. And, I'm thinking, man, he's going to give me probation. He's going to give me probation. Man, when he told me 6 months, I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Even though it wasn't a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? My grandma was in there with me and she, bro, I was in
Right.
there. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, I'm 41 going to prison. All the shit I done did, you know what I'm saying? And
I
I'm
was
going to prison at 41 years old, bro. Come make this shit make sense, man.
I
And
was
this shit's
super
petty. Huh?
I was super optimistic because I'm telling you, my attorney told for the first one, my attorney told me I was getting probation. Honestly, yeah, for the first one, my attorney told me I was getting probation. So, and then obviously I got 3 years, so I got 36 months.
Now, this is my personal opinion. because y'all know we don't give legal advice on this show. But you find out when you get in trouble with the feds that it feels like the judge and the prosecutor work together. That's why they call it the criminal injustice system. It's 2 against 1. And at times, it feels like your attorney is working with them too. Sentencing day is the biggest day of your life. It's your life on the line. It's your time. Time you will never get back. And your attorney is coaching you the whole way. Here's what you're looking at. We should probably take this deal. It's not going to get any better. But almost everybody I've dealt with tells the same story. I went in thinking I was getting less, and it's always more. It's always more time.
Nah, it definitely feels that way. I agree. It definitely feels, especially when you're in that hot seat, bro. Everything feels like, I feel like everybody against you when you're in that hot seat.
You know, like I was so confident. My first one, going by the guidelines, and like I said, I paid the money back. I didn't have none of my family come. My grandma and sister don't come. I was like, man, I'm coming. You know, ain't nothing about to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they let me self-surrender anyway. But it's just the fact that I was that confident. Man, look, there ain't nothing about to happen. You know, I'll never forget. And then to add injury to insult, I had to drive 7 hours to turn myself in. You feel me? The self-surrender. And then in that case, I had to drive 10 hours. You know, that shit's, you know how long that ride to prison is, bro?
I did the same.
You know?
To Montgomery, I did the same. I had to drove all the way from Tampa to Alabama.
If you really think about it, though, because, like, I didn't experience like y'all did, but I heard the same thing from a lot of people, right? But you got to look at it from this perspective. We came through the program. We got jump started every day. You had to play the game, bro. And if you wasn't playing the game and participating, you was gonna have problems. You know what I'm saying? You probably wasn't gonna make it out the program, or you're gonna end up in the program longer. You know what I'm saying? You had to play the game. And with that being said, you know what I'm saying? I think almost as a DTS or a counselor, he's got the same thing. You know what I'm saying? He can't like unless you just have been the ultimate, the perfect inmate. You know what I'm saying? Or perfect, and really, you in that program. None of us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find a flaw even if you don't feel they're going to find something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You got some struggle, and you best not be in there talking about you don't have a struggle. You feel me? So
100%.
With that being said, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, you know, he might have been playing the game, but I know he blessed me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to, I went and sat in there 3 times to go to team and never made it to team, and he didn't push me to team. He come out and check me. You know, I was doing the CDL, the truck driving. He come back there, kick it with me, make sure I was cool.
I got
know,
love for the brother because we, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, we definitely spent a lot of time talking
about the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because he was very much so about the Lord, the same way me and you met. You know what I'm saying? He was a deep Christian man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we definitely spent a lot of time talking about faith and all of that.
And actually.
And I thought, and I was like on his side because I had a lot of people telling me how he was when he got to them teams, but I didn't do a team until like a week before I got released. My team was right before I got released, but it was days before, honestly. But the female who we all, and I ain't saying her name, the one that had it out for all of us.
The one that was,
man, I say that motherfucker's name. I say her initials. Yeah, I say her initials. You know what I'm saying?
So
like, yeah.
She had it out for me, bro. She was pushing. She had every negative behavior in me going crazy. I was like, this woman here is just challenging everything about me. But so it wasn't until that team I saw that she pretty much her voice carried all the weight,
no doubt,
in that team. But he told me how he was going to fight for me, you know, because he felt like
help you. He told me that too.
Yeah, because he felt like I had done the work.
And he was your DTS. And he was your DTS.
Yes.
You had him as your DTS.
We both did. We was in the same process.
You guys know I had.
Me and Ross was in the same process group.
Bro, I'm sitting in there. She lighting me up with bogus stuff at that. It's like this she lighting me up. So here I'm looking over at him like, you go
You want
you
that
gonna
life
say
jacket? You throw
yeah,
me the
you gonna
life
say
jacket,
something,
bro.
bro?
Where the
Like,
life jacket at?
Hey,
You know what I'm
cause
saying?
you was over there like this.
like,
Man,
You're
bruh,
not gonna, hey, you're not gonna chime
you
in
ain't
here.
gonna chime in
You're
at
not gonna
all.
chime in. Help
You
the
ain't
boy
gonna chime in at
out.
all.
Yeah, you just gonna listen too.
Cause you know he's my counselor, so you
No
got
doubt.
more firsthand experience
Experience.
of. Bro, he was crickets, dog. I was like, man, this man is bogus, bro.
Dude, to
bro.
It's
tell it,
bogus.
hey,
And so they decided based off of what she did. Um um, what's her name? The psychologist, the one that was over everything, had made the decision. They wasn't putting me in. They wasn't rolling me back because you know in RDAP they'll roll you back.
no
They
doubt.
wasn't rolling me back. But what they made up something brand new that day. They was like putting me on ice and then going to give me another team because they said that I needed to work on my self confidence.
Huh? Oh, you
I
need to
needed
bring.
to work on myself.
You need to bring it down. You need to bring
I
your
need
self confidence down. You're too
no,
arrogant.
no, 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 no. They wanted my self
Huh?
confidence to come up. They said they felt
What?
like
You? Oh, so you
they
was
said
running. You were running game in RDAP.
I definitely
Yeah,
was running game.
yeah, you was running
Wait,
game.
hey, so you trying to say you wasn't running the game, bro? I'm talking to Brown.
So my game
You
didn't
got
work.
put, you got put on the
Hey,
coals though.
B. Let's be real. The game I ran didn't work.
Hey, look, I'm
Did
gonna tell you
it?
like this. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's the same way where I was in the streets, bro. I would learn from other people's mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing how other people's are getting cracked. Like one,
So
I give you an
you was learning
example.
from my mistakes.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I would give you an analogy, right? You know, I learned early on when I got in the game. Don't put nothing in the trash. You know, don't put no baggies in the trash. Don't put no seeds and stems in the trash. No cut packages in the trash. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm seeing getting rated all the time, you know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of the same thing,
no
you know what I'm saying?
evidence.
So I learned from no evidence, you know what I'm saying? But it's the thing is, I'm learning from other people's mistakes. I can give you hella examples, you know what I'm saying? But when I got in there, Brian was the first one I seen. Oh yeah, they on this nigga's line, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
Man,
hey man,
Hey,
like no.
man.
I skated through the first 3 months. I skated clean through. I barely had to do anything that first three
But
months because you know when you first come in, there's 100 brothers like,
Hmm.
and then they start chopping that thing start going down quick.
man,
Like,
look, Brian, and Brian, you gotta give me my credit. You know how solid I am because nigga, they was putting that pressure on you. I was with you every day, damn near in
You
orientation. You dig
were.
what I'm
Right, you
saying?
were.
And,
I was
and even when they was putting that
B.
pressure on you, I didn't leave your side. You dig what
Hey,
I'm saying? But I was just
I was, hey, for the first 3 months of RDAP, I was toxic. They
but
was like, hey, he a cool dude, but they on him. He's like,
yeah,
hey, this
and
motherfucker
they
getting
stayed
out.
away from
Hey,
me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nah, I'm rocking with. If I rock with you, I rock with you. You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I'm saying? I just
I appreciate it. That's why we
yeah,
here today.
I just move different. You know what I'm saying? Like just
yeah,
you know.
but going back to your question earlier, like the first one, like I said, I should have had probation, bro. The judge was just like she felt like I needed some. She didn't use the word punishment. She felt like
Some straightening. You needed some
I
straightening.
needed she,
Nah,
but I qualified. I qualified for probation.
man, I
Now
figured. Go
the
ahead, my
second and
bad. Go
third,
ahead.
the second time once I got out, I felt like I didn't qualify for probation, but because these all happened before,
Yeah.
my attorneys all kept telling me that I might get probation. Every attorney I had told me I might get probation.
That's the
You
stuff.
serious?
3 times they told me that. Three
They was
times,
like,
bro.
hey, nah, B. They said, Ross, it's gonna be 25,000, and we looking at probation.
Oh, so, hey, so look,
We
Ross.
looking at probation. Ross said, it's 25, you give me probation. Ross fell for it all three
Man,
times too, B. He said, this time
not
gotta be probation. One of
that's
these
why.
times gotta
Yeah,
be probation.
Never.
the criminal justice system taught me to prepare for worst case scenario,
No
bro.
doubt.
And I learned that at a young age because if you start thinking, hey man, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, you know what I'm saying? And I had that happen to me when I was younger too, and I can't believe I slipped like that that first Fed case, but I just thought it'd been so much time. I was older and it was petty, and I paid the money back, and because the other stuff I had done is a lot more serious, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And to a degree, I just Yeah, man. When they tell you, "Hey, you going to jail," what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you
Yeah.
tell yourself you ain't going to jail and you getting probation, man, that's a
Hey,
hell of a
I'll
thing.
hit it. You guys just made me realize, my wife went through this process as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And they told her the same thing. She went to
yeah,
court in some Louboutins, all dressed up, thinking she was coming home. And when she was going in, y'all, I was just coming home. Like I literally was at the halfway house. I think the weekend she went in, they literally released me to, home confinement. And so my mom flew out here for a case. Her family was out here. I was like, well, it looks like we moved back in together. And what do you call it? I remember I called my mom. What happened? She said they took her in. I said, what? She said they took her in. I said, she didn't get to come home?
Yeah.
Nah. And I said, dude, she was facing probation. Oh, she's
Oh,
like,
so wait,
nah.
they arrested her at the courthouse?
The judge
Yeah,
yeah. I don't
said,
remember that,
that'd be the worst.
the
That'd
judge
be the
said,
but
worst.
I,
let's get this over with. Let's get your
Yeah,
time
that'd
out.
be
It
the
was so,
worst.
in
I,
the judge's mind, it was so little, like, and I hate to say this, I'm sure no judge has ever been to jail or prison. And so the time they give away, I hate to say, is just, I mean, it's kind of mythical. They give some people 30 years and they give some people probation, some people 6 months. So when I think anybody who gets less than probably 3 years to most federal judges is not doing no time, realistically, because they
Yeah.
giving some people shit 30 years, 100 years. And so her judge said verbatim, let's get this over with. Take her into custody. Basically, you don't need to think about it. You only got 4 months. Let's get the time out the way. And so I heard the look on her face was, I've talked to her about it, was, huh? I
All
can't, I can't hear my Jimmy Choo's a little bit
all three of my
times.
case,
man,
all three of my cases, they let me self surrender. The first one they gave me 3 months. The second one they gave me 4 months, and the third one they gave me 3 months to self
Wow.
surrender each time. But they by the second and third one they knew I wasn't fleeing.
No
One,
doubt.
I got three boys. I'm like, and I'm very present in my kids' lives. I'm like, I ain't going. I mean, where am I running to?
No
Like,
doubt.
you know what I mean? I'm a father to my kids, so I'm like, by that time they yeah they they looked at that as their way of kind of like helping me out because unfortunately every time that I happened it was always around like one of my kids. Like the first time my son was my oldest son was getting ready to graduate high school,
Yeah.
so my request was I wanted to be there for my son's graduation, which was within that 3 month window. So the judge granted that. The second time, my middle son was he was turning 18. I wanted to be there for his birthday. So it always fell around something with my children. So that was always my request to kind of get my affairs in order and kind of like be there for my kids. So I would say that was a blessing in the sense that they allowed me to do that each time. It
Mm-hmm.
but in hindsight, every time I did it, I always felt like I should have just went on and went in and got it over with because I felt like I would have been out already. Like, you know what I mean? It's like once you get in there and you get in your routine, you like, man, I should have started this. I should have took that little
Mm-hmm.
3 4 months.
No
I'll be
doubt.
going home by now.
yeah, real
So,
shit.
hey, I think we covered that well. Let's move on.
Hey,
So,
before you move on real
go
quick,
ahead.
man, I think you brought up something very interesting for the audience, and it's your whole your case and the situation with your wife. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to expound off that or say that for another episode, but from what I know, it's a very interesting and intriguing
That's
situation
like
and case.
that's right, a half an episode in itself. That's why I said figure we would
Yeah.
save that, and I figured
Okay.
that would be an
Yeah, for
episode where we
sure.
talk about how this affects anybody, friends, family, wives
Without a
that you
doubt.
got caught up
Yeah.
with. And so, I think we covered this pretty well. I said for the next thing, so we talked about the experience before you get sentenced. Now I want to fast forward and say coming home. I said, so when you finally got home after handling your bid, what caught you completely off guard that nobody warned you about? Was it relationships, new technology, access to your money or trying to make money, just thinking you were free, but really being on supervised release and knowing that this is just the second part of your sentence?
Go
Let's
ahead,
start.
Harold.
Let's start with B this time on this one.
So there was a couple things. The first thing being my excuse me. The first thing being when I was in FPC Montgomery, I was allowed to get my CDL, and I had got my logistics certifications too. I got the logistics assistant, and I think the logistics certified logistics assistant and certified logistics technician certification. I had got my forklift certification. I had got my CDL, like I said. So I thought I could hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? I had met several guys we was locked up with that had owned their own trucks. You know what I'm saying? I was real intrigued and wanted to get into that line of work. So when I got to the halfway house, they told me I couldn't get a job driving. I was like, what? And then
you're like I got
hold
this
up, hold
in
up. And
prison.
so and I got this in prison exactly. And then I'm already knowing I done talked to some of the homies
Crazy.
I done talked to some of the
Crazy
homies
work.
that got man, that's tough, you know what I'm saying? So I had got talked to some of the other homies that did the CDL that got out before me, you know what I'm saying? And so I had talked to them once they had touched down, and they're driving, you know what I'm saying? So it's each halfway house has their own little different set of rules
Oh,
that
nah, you're right about
that
that.
they implement.
Nah,
You know what I'm
you're right.
saying? And it's exactly what you said. So so I started bucking a little bit. I said, "What you mean I can't drive the CDL? Make the shit make sense to me." You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you tried to buck, but didn't know you were still under
No,
BOP.
I'm still like I'm putting pressure. You know, I'm like, hold on, you ought to explain this to me. The BOP, make it make sense to me. The BOP helped me get my CDL to help me put me in a better financial situation so I don't reoffend. I don't get out here selling drugs. I don't go out here and commit more financial crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are telling me I
That's
can't. You're
crazy.
more or less trying to set me up to go back. You see what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And it is just make it make sense. So I was real frustrated about that. And then the other thing, and you know, me and Ross was in the same halfway house, so Ross can
Mm-hmm.
speak on this as well. Man, the living conditions in the halfway house was way worse than prison. It was almost like I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Feel
it
like
was
county
so,
jail.
man, it felt like the county. You know what I'm saying? And
Ross got a
then
point. That's what it feels like.
the
County
half,
jail.
yeah,
That's what the halfway house feels like. The
it
halfway
feels
house
like the
feels.
county jail.
That is a great.
And
That is a great
and
analogy.
there was like I think there was like 80 to 100 of us at any given time in this little small ass space, bro. I can't. I mean, I was in and we're in the sleeping quarters. There's four of us in there. You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't say it's like an 8 by 10. It wasn't even probably that big, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And and then yeah, it felt like the county, like you said. So that really blew my mind. And so I was so frustrated. I remember because they started fucking with me about my FSAs, and I had a release date, and then they had did the I think when they first went live with the FSAs.
This nigga had me in Montgomery with the, you know, when they doing their rounds, pushing his big ass up in the top bunk because he was sleeping in the top bunk because I wanted him to look like he was laying down so the boys ain't see him. Because you know, you already know we ain't had a shoe. They gonna ship you to county.
Then
Dude,
that
I'm
nigga
like,
passed out in the shower or something. He passed out in the shower or something one time too. I heard about that.
yeah, because AJ had a rumor going around talking about he was in there trying to jump and touch both of his feet. They said, yo, that rumor spread through so quick. Talking about, man, I saw him in the shower. He talking about he was trying to jump and touch both of his feet. That's why he was on the ground. But man, I said, I'm dead, dog.
dude, B. Ross just reminded me. Do you remember the little kid who they put under me at the end? He was from like Tennessee or somewhere, or Tennessee or Memphis. We had so Ross on our group when we got into blue, we had a scare that could have set back the whole thing. Like they was gonna shut it down. We had a group of three people. B. Remember they all got on K2. We had
Yeah,
dudes sleeping through Jumpstart.
that could have been jump start
And then
7 in
not
the
caring.
morning.
Dude, we had to have
7 in the
hey,
morning.
Gone.
I had my own intervention with the dude, pulled him aside, I think B was there. I said, yo, you're gonna ruin it for everybody. You talk about 100 people trying to go home. And he was like, man, and you can see in his face that K2 had a hold. He's like, I don't care. I said, dude, you just
It
gotta
can get you like that, bro.
Hey,
yeah.
well, I don't know if you remember one of them cats. So everybody was putting the pressure on him, so he thought somebody was gonna pull him up for the K2. You know what I'm saying? So he
That's
caught
what I'm
himself
talking
holding.
about.
But no, it was the light skinned bro. I think you talking about the brother that was over there sleeping by you. Ain't that who
Yeah,
you
I'm
talking
talking about
about?
the dude sleeping by me.
Yeah,
Tall dude.
I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about the light skinned dude that was in the back. You know what I'm saying? The young dude, because he got up in call himself trying to get ahead of the pull up. You know what I'm saying? And
It ain't no such thing.
hold up,
Getting ahead of the
he talking about he needed
using
a community
drugs and
club to hold
RDAP
himself.
pull-up.
He want to hold himself accountable and said he was he had a cigarette addiction and he been smoking cigarettes. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying? And so this was knowing that it was really he was been on the K2. So the feedback they was on his ass, man. You know about everybody, you know, they played the game with him and made it like it was like cigarettes, but they was on his ass. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, this really don't set up here and told on himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look, it's
man,
crazy, dog. So yeah, that when I got to the halfway house, that was the biggest thing. Like I said, B threw me the lifeline by plugging me in because he had already. I figured you was probably like 2-3 months ahead, at least 3 months before I got to the halfway house. Because you was already at the crib when I got to the halfway
yeah,
house.
I quit that job as soon as I got out. As soon as they said,
B got out in
December.
December.
Oh, so
I got out in January.
I got there in like, shoot, you was way before me. I got there like June. I feel like.
I got out the halfway house in April.
Yeah.
So I got to the halfway house 2 months after you got out.
2
So
months after
you
that,
already had
yeah,
the lay of the land of kind of like what to expect.
Yeah, and
So
I quit that job the next day. You
so
know
he
what
was
I'm saying?
as soon as you got to the crib. So
Yeah, so I was like, oh, fuck this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so I got the job was the best thing ever just to get me up out of there because he was like, man, he was the one telling me. I was like, nah, I think I'm good, bro, because I was in there. Y'all, I was doing this when we was at Montgomery too. So you know, I'm in the halfway house. I'm teaching credit classes. I'm teaching guys how to improve their credit, like how to get access to capital to start businesses. Because I know a lot of guys that's just from going in there that only have like drug crimes. Like that's all they know.
No doubt.
So, but I know a hustler just need a new lane to apply that same
No
skill
doubt.
set to. So I felt like with my knowledge on how to access funds and get your credit clean and all that, I was trying to put brothers in position like, bro, you got your little 50 piece, like, you know what I'm saying, some funding. I'm trying to teach guys like just with that alone, you ain't got to go because most guys have this same mentality. Like they'll go out and try to make a quick lick real quick, and then they feel like they can get something legitimate, right? So, and I know this just from like talking to them dudes, especially the guys that you know what I'm saying that have sold drugs for most of their life. So I'm just like, bro, I can show you how to legitimately go get like 50,000, 75,000, fix your credit, you know, get access to capital, start an LLC or corporation and go get you some capital. And you ain't even got to do nothing illegal to get it. And then just go ahead and start the business. Cause a lot of these guys, you know, they have a lot of ideas that they want to start. It's like, you just need to do it. So I was in the halfway house doing that. And I was kind of content when I first got in there. Even seeing all the little wild stuff, and people like, nah, bro, you got to get up out of there. He's like, and when he started telling me that, that's when I started seeing, like, man, he right, bro. I got it. So they allow you to work 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So that was like a blessing because it was just like just being up out of there. So I'm only in there pretty much to shower and go to sleep.
No doubt.
And then on Sundays, that was pretty much my time in there.
That's it.
For me, that was a blessing because I didn't know. Because he already went through, he kind of knew that the
I told
stuff
you
that
how to
I
play the
didn't know.
game.
I did, yeah, he knew how to,
told you
he knew how to
how to
play the game.
You know what I'm saying? I told
So
you
I
how
was
to play
like,
the game.
shoot, okay, I'm glad he did it because as I was going to work coming back, I'm coming back. Like I said, these boys strung out in there, man. They don't fights breaking out. They in there doing the most over some nonsense. Like they just,
it's the second stage of prison.
I'm like, they in there fighting over BS. Like it ain't even nothing serious going on. There's just too many men in a close quarters up in there.
So I would say we'll all agree that the best thing you do, anybody watching this, when you get to the halfway house, get a gig, any gig that allows 100%. You to get out the halfway house. The halfway house is only going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Like you want to get.
Hey, Brian was out there washing cars, Ross. I don't know if you knew that.
I was going to talk about that.
Nah, you don't say.
Brian was washing cars.
I'll tell my story. So I get in the halfway house. The first thing I want to do is, of course, get out the halfway house. I'm in there. They got I think it was 6 people to a room, the double bunk beds in bungalows. So I didn't have the shared experience that y'all had. I had just a bunch of snoring people. They sat around all day on a bench outside, and it wasn't a big space. Like even the outdoors, it was a picnic table, some little old school waste that, you know, back in the hood, how we grew up, where people had the sets on their backyard. It was bogus. So I had a friend who had, of course, went through the same process we went through. He was on my case. I called him. I was like, dude, I tried to get my first job at River B. My homegirl, LaDon, she owned a barber shop. And so I go over there. She says, hey, son, I'll hire you. What do you call it? You can sweep up. Hey, here, to your skill set. I got a back office for you. You want to do something? I go back to the halfway house. Ross, this is day 2. I got a gig. It's right around the corner, walking distance, and it was. They said, nah. I said, she's a barber. It's a barber shop. This is the address. You got to check it out. They said, you know her? And I said, yeah. Nah, you can't work for her. Hold on a second.
Because you know her.
How the hell I already destroyed my reputation with this felony? I can't use nobody I know to get a job? They were like, no. And I said, you can look her up. She's been a barbershop there. What do you call them? Go sweep up. And I'm trying to say, I'm going to do a remedial job. I'm not doing that that pays a lot. I'm just trying to get out of here. No. And so I asked them what the jobs you offer. Of course, warehouse, nighttime. So every job they had started 10 o'clock at night and went till 6 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Really? You're going to have me out here leaving at 10, lifting, putting, I think one of them was at a water company. So basically it's bagging pallets. And so I asked a couple of guys because of course I'm complaining to he out. I'm like, dude, they're not trying to let me out. I'm nervous. I'm like, this halfway house ain't for me. I'm a little, it's not what I thought it was going to be, of course. And so then my boy calls me. He's like, dude, I got a guy, at least he'll have you mobile. He has a mobile car wash place and he picks up people from the halfway house. I said, washing cars? Ross, I'm 47 years old. Found myself washing cars. I worked for him for 3 months. I was sending me pictures laughing, washing cars.
Tell me how hot he was sweating you down there in Miami.
I was sending pictures. It was like 102 degrees, 80% humidity. I'm sitting up, dude, and hot, Ross. I'm hot.
It was humbling, wasn't it?
Humbling wasn't the word. and dudes at the halfway house asking, is he hiring? I'm like, you don't want to do this. Ain't no air conditioning out here. But it got me out the halfway house. I did it for 90 days until I got home confinement. And then I argued again, about working for LaDon. And I took the job at the barbershop. I did 3 months, but that was 3 months. It was funny. I got video. Do you remember I used to see you dancing and washing cars, doing wheels?
Yeah, nice.
One of the things that really bothered me about the halfway house, bro, and I'm sure y'all can relate to this, and it didn't even affect me, but how you were talking about, I think Brown, you was the one talking about how you got the different security levels when you all come to the halfway house, where when you at an institution, you're all the same security level. Okay, well, now they're putting us all, you got lows, camps, lows, medium, highs, you know what I'm saying? And these cats that's coming home, bro, that come home after doing 20, 30 years, you know what I'm saying? And they trying to make them find a job. They got putting them on the bus, not telling them how to ride the bus, you know. But not only and not only the bus thing was what bothered me, you know what I'm saying? Because they was making them get cell phones, or they have cell phones, bro, and then you have to put these apps on the phone. And what was that app?
You talking about the timestamp?
The timestamp, where you had to take a picture. It's more or less got your GPS location, and you take a picture, and it puts on the picture your actual location where you're at, and the time you're there. And so anytime we would leave the halfway house, we were supposed to take a timestamp when you got there and when you would leave. You see what I'm saying? Or any movement you had. You know?
Hey, so we had to I had to call. Like,
we had to do that too. We had to
check in.
They had you do the most, bro.
Yeah, we had to do the call in the most. Nah, check in when you leave and coming back to the halfway house. Then take a urine test.
Hey, B, while I'm getting Walmart passes, showing up to Walmart.
I remember that. Yeah, I'm already Take a picture.
I'm out. But then I gotta go back to Walmart to show them getting ready to leave. Take another picture.
And take a picture of your receipt, and then take a picture of your receipt. You know what I'm saying? I quit taking pictures, man. I took pictures for about a month, man, and I forgot. You know what I'm saying? I forgot when you taking pictures no more.
You got all of it's a game, bro. All of it's a game.
But the thing, but real quick. So what was bothering me about that is these cats, was locked up before cell phones was even around, bro.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you like making them use a phone and do timestamps, and then you giving them shots and writing them up and everything. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't sending. Man, the shit was just crazy to me. That's the first
Nah.
thing they should have been. The first thing they should have done is offered training. You know what I'm saying? To
How do
Technology
you
training.
the
Modern,
basics,
technology
the
training,
basic. They should
the
call it.
basics about, hey, look, it's a whole different time in the
man?
world we live in now. You
That's a
know what I'm
whole other
saying?
topic. That's because
Yeah,
they
that's what
Yeah,
I was going to get to. That's a whole other show about the.
yeah.
from the prison experience all the way to the halfway house, and we can talk about this for a whole hour. It's nothing. It's all smoke and mirrors. Ain't none of it built for rehabilitation.
It's built
No.
to for recidivism. The
Hundred
prison
percent.
system
It's
is built
you see
for
when you get behind the
recidivism.
walls. When you
It's
get
built for
behind the
recidivism.
walls,
No.
the awakening of they want you to come back.
No doubt. Hey,
It hits you in there.
I would think that there were a handful of people getting paid to get me back in prison
So
and betting on it like Pocket
Facts.
Market.
I, if you take RDAP away, I agree with you guys 100%. Because of RDAP, I truly believe RDAP puts you in a position to decrease the probability
It
of.
does.
But B,
But
what percentage
RDAP,
of
well, hold on, RDAP also teaches you how to become a master manipulator, though. You know what I'm
yeah?
saying? You know what I'm saying? So
It sharpens them
it
skills, boy.
it sharpens them skills, especially man.
I mean,
It's tough.
B, you can use if you know self defense, boxing, and karate, you can use your tools in two ways. You can use to protect yourself or beat somebody up. And so
Yeah,
RDAP gives you both ways mentally. You can
You
use
gotta
it to
you gotta
better your
choose
situation. Yeah,
which version of a person
choose
you
your
want to be.
focus. Yeah, because
yeah,
if you want to go back into this life, it teaches you RDAP teaches you to be a better manipulator, probably a better criminal. Think about
yeah.
things more. And I want to
Right.
transition to this because we ran out of time. I want to do for each person. We call it the segment RSA of the week. We end every episode with something we call our RSA of the week. RSA stands for Rational Self Analysis. Rational self analysis, and a quick thing is basically you have an incident that triggered you, and you actually focus, you take a snapshot mentally before you act on it. RSA's made me come up with a mantra. It's called never let irrational thoughts lead to irrational behavior. That's basically an RSA. And the RSA, because we went through this training, this 9-month, 12-month program of teaching us how to freeze and when incidents trigger us or things aren't going right, how to not act on them. I'm going to ask both my gentlemen here because life just brings you RSA situations every damn day. It could be from something you not having enough money to pay something. It could be when somebody asks you for money. It could be a situation where, with I talked to B this week, I'm sure he'll share. It could be a system with your business where something didn't go right. Hey, as little as somebody talking to you the wrong way where you feel disrespected.
Hey man, just continue to stay focused on the journey ahead and not focus on the journey that's behind you. Because that's already behind you. So all we can do is capitalize on what's to come, not what's happened.
Man, like you said, chin up, chest out. You know what I'm saying? And just keep pushing, man. You know, things are gonna get greater later. You know, positive thinking, positive self-talk, and one of the things that the program has taught us. You know, and always realize that somebody else has got a worse situation than what you have, and you know that, and keep pushing, man. The game's not over.